Welcome. I'd like to show you how to get Year 12 results and compare them. So one of the better sites is the one listed on my blog, bettereducation.com.au. So you get a listing similar to this. So this is from 2014. Better Education ranks the schools from 1st to 450th, I think it is. Although you can click on the school heading and get an alphabetical list. The information that you get on this website is whether the school offers an international baccalaureate, so you can see the Y means those schools offer an alternative Year 12 program, which is an internationally recognised Year 11 and 12 program. How many students are enrolled in VCE? The median score of all the students within the school. Remember, the top score is 50, so in this particular case, most schools at this school are getting 38 out of 50, which is pretty extraordinary. And then a figure that I think is really important is the percentage of students that are getting above 40. In other words, the percentage of students at the school that are getting an A+. I think this is a really important statistic with regard to the culture at the school. Obviously, the bigger the number, the more academically focused the students are, and that the more of those sorts of students there are at a school, the more that they lift the poorer students up, in my experience at least. Pick the schools that you want, and then what I normally do is form a table, something like this. I'm looking at some schools for some friends, so I'm listing the results for the last 5 years, 6 years. First thing I want to do is find how many students are doing VCE. This gives a bit of an indication of the variety of programs that the schools run. The larger the number, the more variety of subject choice the kids will have. Although if a school has a large number, like for example I've been at Baldwin, which is a very large VCE, if the school's academically focused, they will probably have a sort of an unwritten policy that they don't offer vet subjects, or not many at least, and that's certainly the case here. Then I look at the social ranking, which I've shown you how to get through the My School website. Remember, the normal ranking is between 900 and 1100, so most schools fall within that range. Any schools less than 900 would be considered to be economically and socially disadvantaged. So most of those numbers are between the range of 900 to 1100. Then the median score for that school in Year 12, remember it's out of 50, so Kew High School, for example, has got a median of 32 out of 50, which is pretty good. The average would be 30 out of 50, so 30 or above. If you're above 30, you're performing better than most schools. Then the statistic that I think is really important is the percentage of students that get above 40, in other words, the number of students that get A+. So in Q's case, there's nearly 10%, so that's 1 in 10 kids in Year 12 are getting an A+. So that's a pretty high number, and you can see you can make comparisons. Baldwin's exceptional, 20% of kids are getting an A+. So once again, the culture of the school that creates is very conducive for other students. So then you can see also the trend of the school in previous years. You'll notice that tends to remain the same, which is really interesting, that scores over a 4 or 5 year period are pretty consistent. Anyway, you've got that history of data that helps you make an informed decision. Now, as a general rule, remember, this is not the be all and end all of what schools do. There are many schools, particularly the schools that offer pre-apprenticeships and more vet programs, they tend not to score as high in the external exams that this is based on. So if your child son and daughter is more interested in a practical program, then I wouldn't take too much notice of these scores. But they do give you an indication. If you're academically focused, you can make good comparisons.